The courtroom was a place where time seemed to stand still, with its solemn walls and the faint scent of polished wood filling the air. The flickering fluorescent lights cast a harsh glow on the faces of those gathered, creating an atmosphere thick with tension and anticipation. Each person present understood the weight of the proceedings, from the well-dressed attorneys who meticulously reviewed their notes to the anxious families awaiting their turn in the unforgiving glare of justice. As the clock ticked away, a mix of whispers and rustling papers created a low hum that echoed off the high ceilings. The judge's gavel lay poised at the front, an emblem of authority and order in this small world of legalities. Today, however, there was an added layer of curiosity beneath the normal seriousness. A young black boy was being brought in for a minor offense, an event that typically might not draw much attention but felt different this time. The judge, seated high above the rest, scanned the room with a keen eye, accustomed to reading people's expressions and gauging their emotions. He wore a black robe that seemed to weigh heavy on him as he prepared to preside over yet another case involving youth, individuals often overlooked or underestimated in these hallowed halls. He hoped to maintain decorum while also attempting to connect with the young defendant, expecting perhaps a typical exchange with a frightened child who would struggle to comprehend the gravity of his situation. Yet, as he glanced toward the boy, he caught sight of something unexpected, a flicker of confidence in his eyes. The boy sat straight-backed, seemingly unfazed by his surroundings. This young child's presence hinted at untapped potential, setting up a narrative that would soon unfold in ways no one could anticipate within these stifling court walls. As the proceedings began, the young boy was brought forward, his small frame both fragile and poised. His name was Jamal, a 12-year-old with a reputation that belied his age. Known for his sharp wit and insatiable curiosity, Jamal had consistently excelled in school, earning accolades that most students could only dream of. His teachers often remarked on his ability to grasp complex concepts effortlessly, leaving them both impressed and slightly bewildered. Jamal had always been different. He read voraciously, devouring books on everything from astronomy to law, and showed an uncanny ability to engage in debates with adults who often underestimated him due to his youth. However, despite his brilliance, the circumstances that led him to this courtroom were far from ideal. A misunderstanding at school had escalated into a series of events that culminated in a minor offense, a confrontation that went too far during a heated discussion about the rules of a game among his peers. Today, as he stood before the judge, Jamal felt a mix of apprehension and determination. He was aware of the gravity of the situation but also possessed a confidence that came from knowing his own capabilities. The boy's dark eyes sparkled with intelligence, and he held himself straight, as if refusing to be defined by the label of defendant. He had resolved to turn this moment into an opportunity, not just for himself but to challenge the perceptions others held about him. In the stillness of the courtroom, Jamal's mind raced with thoughts and strategies. He knew he was about to enter uncharted territory, and as he glanced at the judge, he felt an unfamiliar sense of excitement stirring within him. This was not just a case. It was a chance to showcase his understanding of justice and perhaps even reshape the narrative surrounding young people like him. As Jamal stood before the judge, the man behind the bench surveyed the scene with a mix of curiosity and concern. Judge Thompson had presided over countless cases involving minors, and while he appreciated the innocence of youth, he often felt burdened by the weight of their futures resting in his hands. With graying hair neatly combed back and a pair of round spectacles perched on his nose, he exuded an air of wisdom tempered with a hint of weariness. Judge Thompson was known for his stern but fair disposition. He believed in guiding young offenders toward rehabilitation rather than punishment. He approached each case with a desire to understand the individual behind the actions, often drawing on his own childhood experiences to foster empathy. However, today felt different. As he prepared to address Jamal, a flicker of skepticism crossed his mind. He had seen too many bright-eyed children lose their way due to circumstances beyond their control, and he wondered if this boy would follow suit. His initial impressions of Jamal were layered with both intrigue and caution. The judge noted the boy's confident posture and intelligent gaze, traits that set him apart from the usual defendants who shuffled into his courtroom with heads bowed and voices quivering. In that moment, Judge Thompson sensed a spark within Jamal, a combination of resilience and potential that made him reconsider how he might guide this young soul through the legal maze they were about to navigate together. As Jamal stood resolute before him, Judge Thompson found himself intrigued by how this encounter might defy the expectations typically associated with juvenile cases. Perhaps today's proceedings would not only impact Jamal's future but also challenge his own understanding of justice and the capabilities of children caught in difficult situations. Caught in the tension of the moment, Judge Thompson decided to break the ice. His mind raced for a way to engage Jamal that could soften the gravity of the situation yet also allow them both to reveal themselves in a meaningful manner. It was then that he recalled a light-hearted technique he sometimes used with younger defendants, a twist on an old game. Truth or lie? Jamal, he began, adopting a more relaxed tone. Would you be interested in playing a quick game to help us get to know each other better? A hint of surprise flickered across Jamal's face, but curiosity soon settled in. The judge explained the rules. They would take turns making statements, some true and others false, and the other party would guess whether they were true or not. It could be an interesting way to lighten up this room filled with tension, he added with a faint smile, keenly aware that not all legal proceedings had to be shrouded in solemnity. Jamal's eyes lit up at the prospect. It would be an unexpected yet refreshing challenge unlike anything he'd experienced within these walls before. All right, he replied, a confident grin forming on his lips. The seriousness instinctively fell away as they prepared to flip the script of their interaction. Judge Thompson felt a wave of relief wash over him as well, buoyed by Jamal's enthusiasm. Their exchange promised not just levity but also insight into each other's characters. What started as a typical court meeting had begun to transform into something much more dynamic, a chance for understanding and perhaps mutual respect, reinforced by playful competition instead of rigid legal formalities. Little did either know, this simple game might unveil truths that transcended mere words. As Judge Thompson explained the rules of truth or lie, Jamal's initial surprise quickly transformed into a spark of excitement. He felt a rush of adrenaline at the prospect of engaging in a game that allowed him to showcase his wit and intelligence. This moment presented an unanticipated opportunity to turn the tables in a place where he was often viewed through a lens of judgment rather than merit. Jamal's mind raced with possibilities as he contemplated his approach. He knew that this was not just a game. It was a chance to strategically navigate his way through the conversation, subtly demonstrating his capabilities without overtly challenging authority. With confidence radiating from him, he adopted a playful yet strategic mindset, recognizing that the game could reveal more than just facts. It could unveil perceptions and reshape narratives. As the game commenced, Jamal carefully crafted his statements. He mixed truths with clever fabrications, ensuring that each lie was woven with enough plausibility to create intrigue, while hinting at the layers of his own experiences. For instance, when he mentioned having once climbed the tallest tree in his neighborhood, he deftly added that he did so to impress his friends, a true statement, but then slyly claimed that he had also saved a cat from its branches, a delightful embellishment that elicited laughter. Jamal's heart raced with each guess from the judge, who tried to decipher truth from deception. The thrill of the game fueled his confidence, making him feel like an equal participant rather than a mere defendant. With each round, Jamal not only showcased his quick thinking and creativity but also began to dismantle the preconceived notions surrounding him. In this light-hearted arena, he was not just a boy in trouble. He was a clever strategist ready to redefine boundaries and challenge expectations in ways no one had anticipated. As the game began, Judge Thompson leaned forward, his expression a blend of seriousness and playfulness. "All right, Jamal," he said. "Let's get started. I'll go first." He paused for effect before stating, "I once met a famous celebrity at a restaurant." Jamal's eyes narrowed slightly, calculating the statement. That sounds interesting. Are you sure it's true? Who was it?" The judge smiled, appreciating Jamal's quick engagement. "It was Denzel Washington. But do I really meet celebrities often?" Jamal took a moment to think, then replied confidently, "I doubt it. I think that's a lie." Judge Thompson chuckled and confirmed that he had indeed only encountered the actor in passing at an awards show, but never personally. Encouraged by his success, Jamal's turn came next. With a glint in his eye, he declared, "I once won a chess tournament as the youngest participant." The judge raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Now that one sounds impressive. Did you really win?" Jamal nodded enthusiastically but added with a playful smirk, "It was only against my little brother and his friends." The judge laughed, sensing the truth behind the light-hearted embellishment. "So that's a bit of a stretch?" As the rounds continued, Jamal skillfully navigated each question posed by the judge. When the judge remarked he could fly a plane, Jamal quipped back, questioning whether it was a commercial jet or just an old model toy plane. His ability to analyze statements and respond with thoughtful inquiries revealed not only his reasoning skills but also showcased an understanding of nuance that belied his age. Judge Thompson felt increasingly impressed by Jamal's sharp mind and wit. This wasn't just a game. It was becoming a revealing exchange that allowed both parties to explore deeper truths beyond mere words. As the game unfolded, the dynamic between Judge Thompson and Jamal became increasingly engaging, characterized by their mutual respect and playful banter. The judge, sensing Jamal's excitement, decided to up the ante. "Okay, here's another one. I've run a marathon," he declared, his eyes glinting with challenge. Jamal leaned forward, a knowing smile creeping across his face. "True or false? Did you really run the entire thing?" he asked, feigning disbelief. The judge chuckled, admitting, "Well, I actually walked most of it." "I think that's a lie then," Jamal retorted, having sensed the twist in the judge's tone. With each exchange, Jamal's strategic thinking shone through. He not only crafted clever responses but also started to playfully tease the judge about the nature of his questions. "But you didn't clarify if it was a marathon for charity," Jamal remarked after Coach Thompson recounted a story about running for a good cause. In turn, Jamal shifted to his next statement. "I've been to space." The judge raised an eyebrow, intrigued yet skeptical. "Space? Really?" Jamal responded playfully. "Well, only in a virtual reality game, but it felt real." The judge couldn't help but laugh at the unexpected revelation. As they alternated turns, surprising truths and humorous lies flowed freely. The courtroom atmosphere continued to lighten as they both realized that this exchange was more enlightening than anticipated. For Jamal, it was not just an entertaining diversion. It became an opportunity to present himself as clever and articulate while displaying his unique view of the world. Judge Thompson watched with growing admiration as he witnessed Jamal's ability to navigate both fun and meaningful conversation. With each round of truth or lie, barriers melted, allowing them both to reveal sides of themselves rarely seen in standard courtroom proceedings. Through laughter and shared stories, they began to forge an unexpected connection, one built on mutual respect and recognition of each other's intelligence. As the game continued, Jamal's extraordinary knowledge base began to shine through, subtly showcasing his legal acumen. When Judge Thompson posed a statement about the importance of understanding one's rights, Jamal seized the opportunity to comment. "You know," he began, leaning forward with an eager expression, "knowing your rights is crucial, especially if you're ever in a situation where someone might try to take advantage of you." The judge nodded, intrigued. "Absolutely. It's fundamental," he replied, impressed by Jamal's insight. Jamal continued, "I read that knowing your rights can help prevent unjust treatment by authorities. Like when the police ask questions without explaining what you're being accused of." His tone was confident, and it was evident he had engaged with these topics well beyond casual interest. The judge felt a stir of admiration. Jamal articulated legal concepts with remarkable clarity for someone so young. The boy's ability to distill complex ideas into digestible pieces became increasingly evident. When Jamal constructed his own statement, "I've learned about the role of a juror in school," the judge asked what he thought should be the ideal qualities of a juror. Jamal responded thoughtfully, "A juror should be fair and impartial, but they also need to have critical thinking skills to evaluate evidence effectively." Judge Thompson couldn't help but smile at Jamal's maturity and depth of understanding. "Exactly," he affirmed. "And why do you think that's important?" It's important because everyone deserves a fair trial, Jamal stated simply yet powerfully, encapsulating a profound principle of justice that many adults often overlook. With each response, Jamal showcased not just his high IQ but also an inherent grasp of legal concepts that was both impressive and enlightening for the judge. This wasn't merely a game. It revealed Jamal as a thoughtful young man with potential far beyond what anyone could see from his age alone. Judge Thompson realized that this encounter might just shift his understanding of youth, and perhaps even the justice system itself. As the game continued, Judge Thompson found himself increasingly captivated by Jamal's insights and intellect. Each time Jamal responded, it became clearer to the judge that this was no ordinary child. His ability to articulate complex ideas and legal principles was both impressive and unexpected. The more they exchanged thoughts, the more the judge began to dissect his preconceived notions about youth. When Jamal explained how knowledge of one's rights could protect individuals from unjust treatment, Judge Thompson felt a sinking realization that many adults he encountered lacked such awareness. It struck him that here was a 12-year-old boy articulating fundamental concepts of justice with clarity and conviction that most adults struggled to reconcile. The judge wondered how many others like Jamal were out there, stifled by circumstances rather than allowed to flourish. In another moment of revelation, when Jamal spoke about the role of jurors and what qualities they should possess, Judge Thompson couldn't help but admire how the boy's responses reflected an understanding far beyond his years. Fairness and critical thinking, Jamal had stated emphatically, offering nuances that highlighted a deep ethical grounding. The judge leaned back in his chair, momentarily speechless as he processed this young mind's capacity for thought. With every round of truth or lie, Jamal challenged not only the judge's words but also his assumptions about young people embroiled in the system. Judge Thompson began to realize this encounter was not just an interaction with the defendant, it was a lesson in humility and awareness. As he observed Jamal's confidence growing with each exchange, it dawned on him that this boy had the potential for greatness, a legal genius cloaked in youthful bravado. This connection prompted the judge to reconsider not only Jamal's future, but also his own responsibilities within a system that often overlooked such remarkable talent. It was a powerful epiphany, one that would linger long after these proceedings concluded. The turning point in their interaction came when Jamal posed a question that rattled the established power dynamics in the courtroom. After a few rounds of playful exchanges filled with laughter, Jamal leaned forward with a serious expression and asked, "Judge, if someone were to unfairly accuse you of something, how would you want others to react?" This unexpected question momentarily silenced Judge Thompson. He hadn't anticipated being put on the spot like this, especially by a young boy who was meant to be the defendant rather than an active participant in legal discourse. Jamal's gaze was unwavering, challenging yet respectful, suggesting he had deeper reflections on justice and fairness. After taking a moment to collect his thoughts, Judge Thompson replied carefully, "I would hope they would listen to both sides before making any judgments." Jamal nodded in agreement, clearly satisfied with the response, and seizing on this moment as an opportunity for deeper insight. "Exactly," Jamal continued, digging deeper. "And that's what makes it important for everyone, especially kids, to understand their rights. If adults can make mistakes or be biased, then we should all be vigilant." Judge Thompson felt a shift within him. This wasn't just a game anymore. Jamal's question had illuminated the disparity in how power is wielded within a courtroom and who gets heard. The judge realized that the same principles he advocated for as a jurist applied equally to young people navigating the system. This moment was pivotal, not just for Jamal but for the judge as well, highlighting how assumptions based on age or circumstance could obscure true understanding. Here stood a child not only aware of his rights but willing to confront authority thoughtfully and respectfully. It reframed the entire interaction for Judge Thompson. He began to see his role not solely as an arbiter of justice but also as someone tasked with nurturing potential in individuals like Jamal. With this revelation came an understanding that perhaps it was time for change within the system itself. As the laughter faded and the game reached its conclusion, Judge Thompson found himself reflecting deeply on the implications of their interaction. Jamal's articulate insights and challenging questions had not only entertained but also provoked profound thoughts about justice, fairness, and the treatment of youth within his courtroom. The judge recalled various instances throughout his career where he had been quick to pass judgment based on age or outward appearances. He had often viewed young defendants through a narrow lens, perceiving them as less sophisticated or capable of understanding complex issues. However, Jamal had shattered this stereotype, offering a vibrant reminder that intellect and maturity can reside in unexpected places. Now, as he considered his role in the courtroom, Judge Thompson recognized that a substantial responsibility rested on his shoulders, not just to enforce laws but to nurture potential in every child who stood before him. He felt compelled to redefine how he approached young offenders, advocating for rehabilitation over punishment and emphasizing understanding rather than mere compliance. Jamal's comments about the importance of knowing one's rights sparked a realization within the judge that many young people face systemic obstacles that prevent them from advocating for themselves effectively. This interaction illuminated the necessity for introducing educational programs focused on legal rights in schools and community centers to empower youth like Jamal before they ever find themselves in court. Moreover, Judge Thompson began contemplating how vital it was to foster open dialogues between young individuals and legal authorities. The traditional courtroom dynamics needed reevaluation, an environment conducive not just to judgment but to education and empowerment. With this newfound conviction, the judge made a silent promise to approach future cases with renewed awareness, to see not just offenses but potential in each child brought before him. This encounter with Jamal had ignited a shift in his approach to justice, one where every juvenile defendant could be treated as a budding mind capable of growth rather than merely as an individual who needed correction. As the session drew to a close, Judge Thompson felt a renewed sense of purpose as he prepared to make his ruling regarding Jamal's case. The playful yet profound exchange they had shared during the game of truth or lie had revealed not just Jamal's intellect but also the potential for growth that lay within him. The judge reflected on how Jamal had articulated concepts of justice and fairness with such clarity, effectively challenging the assumptions often held about young defendants. When it came time to decide, Judge Thompson took a deep breath and addressed the courtroom. "Jamal," he began, "I've seen many cases like yours, and I've often approached them by focusing solely on the offense committed. But today, your insights have opened my eyes to another approach." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in before continuing. "You are not just a boy who made a mistake, you are a thoughtful individual with a clear understanding of your rights and responsibilities." In light of this revelation, the judge decided to take an unconventional route. Instead of imposing punitive measures typically associated with juvenile offenses, he opted for a diversion program focused on mentorship and legal education. "I believe you would greatly benefit from participating in workshops designed to enhance your understanding of law and civic responsibility," Judge Thompson proposed, his voice steady yet encouraging. The room buzzed with surprise at this unexpected turn of events. Attorneys exchanged glances while Jamal's face lit up with hope and gratitude. This resolution was not merely about leniency. It represented an investment in Jamal's future, a chance for him to flourish in an environment that recognized his potential rather than merely judging him for his actions. As the proceedings wrapped up, Judge Thompson felt a mixture of relief and excitement about this new approach. He knew he would be following Jamal's progress closely, eager to see how this young man would seize the opportunity presented to him. This ruling marked not only a pivotal moment in Jamal's life but also a transformation in Judge Thompson's perspective on justice, one that was rooted in understanding and empowerment rather than mere punishment. The encounter between Judge Thompson and Jamal sheds light on the biases that often permeate the judicial system, particularly regarding race and age. Historically, young black males have been viewed through a narrow lens of criminality and delinquency, often leading to harsher judgments based solely on preconceived notions rather than individual merit. Jamal, however, defied these expectations, showcasing not only his intelligence but also a profound understanding of legal principles that many adults might struggle to grasp. Judge Thompson's initial perceptions of Jamal as merely a defendant shifted dramatically throughout their interaction. This transformation highlights how easily judges and legal authorities can fall into patterns of bias, where youth are dismissed or underestimated due to their appearance or age. By engaging with Jamal in a meaningful way, the judge began to confront his own biases and recognize the validity of the insights provided by young people, particularly those from marginalized backgrounds. Moreover, the judge's decision to offer Jamal a diversion program instead of traditional punishment reflects an essential shift in thinking about youth offenders. It underscores the need for a judicial system that prioritizes rehabilitation and education over punitive measures, an approach that acknowledges each individual's potential. By fostering an environment that encourages open dialogue and understanding, judges can combat systemic biases that have historically skewed treatment based on race and age. This scenario serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of viewing young defendants as whole individuals rather than mere statistics or classifications. The ability to engage meaningfully with youth can facilitate change not only for them personally but also within the wider judicial system. Ultimately, this exchange reveals the potential for growth in both the individual and the authority figure, encouraging a re-examination of how justice is served in a manner that upholds dignity and empowerment for all involved. The encounter between Jamal and Judge Thompson serves as a powerful testament to the potential for transformative change within the judicial system, particularly regarding how young people, especially those from marginalized backgrounds, are perceived and treated. Jamal's confident demeanor and profound understanding of legal concepts challenged prevailing biases about youth and race, compelling the judge to rethink his initial assumptions. This moment illuminated the importance of recognizing each child's unique capabilities rather than viewing them through a stereotyped lens. Through their exchange, Judge Thompson came to realize that the traditional punitive measures often meted out to young offenders may overlook their potential for growth and rehabilitation. By offering Jamal a diversion program focused on mentorship and legal education, the judge not only empowered him but also set a positive precedent for future cases involving youth. This decision reflects a growing recognition within the justice system that rehabilitation should take precedence over punishment, an acknowledgement that nurturing potential can lead to more constructive outcomes for both individuals and society as a whole. Furthermore, this interaction underscores the necessity for ongoing reforms that address systemic biases in treatment based on race and age. It serves as a call to action for legal authorities to foster environments that prioritize dialogue, understanding, and education. By creating structures that encourage youth engagement in legal processes, the judicial system can pave the way for more informed and capable future citizens. Ultimately, this encounter leaves us with a sense of hope for future reforms in justice, an assurance that, with awareness and commitment, the system can evolve into one that uplifts every young person, allowing them to flourish rather than falter under unfounded assumptions. The relationship forged in this courtroom not only has the potential to impact Jamal's life significantly but also stands as a model for how compassion and insight can reshape justice itself.